In this video, Gwen Southgate reads passages about Britain's child evacuees during World War II from her memoir, Street Chronicles.
Now, I returned to Coin Street when I was 6, after 4 years on a big municipal housing estate just outside London, meant a new school for me. A new school, pages 37 to 38. I started in the Hatfield Street Infants School, which was tucked away in a corner, separated as much as possible from the big kids. But to get to the infants' entrance, you had to pass through the end of the girls' playground, and that was scary. These girls were a wild lot, so big and rough and loud. Worse yet, I was scared of my new teacher, Miss Mitchell. She too was grim and forbidding, just like the school building. But at least she wasn't grimy. Quite the opposite. Aggressively well scrubbed and squeaky clean, with cheeks that shone like polished apples. She must have used strong carbolic soap, because she even smelled clean. No doubt Miss Mitchell was regarded as a pillar of her community, but to the children in her classroom, she was a frumpy old lady with a face like a camel, and about the same temperament. The camel resemblance was recognized dramatically one Saturday morning at the Baker Theatre, where Saturday morning films for kids were shown. The place was full of Hatfield Street pupils, and when a camel appeared on the screen, a voice guffawed in the darkness, "Hey, look! Old Ma Mitchell!" The likeness was quite remarkable, and a ripple of recognition swept through the place. Then pandemonium broke out, with every child who had suffered under Miss Mitchell whooping and hollering with delight. From then on, she was known as Old Camel Face, and in an odd way, it made many of us feel a bit more affection for her. Perhaps she seemed more human, now that we could laugh at her and about her. Maybe we even felt a trace of sympathy for the owner of such an unfortunate face. In addition to her lack of natural endowments, Old Camel Face was a lousy teacher. Thanks to my father, I started school with a good head start, able to read, write, and count. And in my other school, teachers had recognized this. They'd let me sit off in the corner and work at my own level, whenever it was appropriate. But not Miss Mitchell. In her classroom, everybody worked in lockstep. Reading time was particularly excruciating. She started in one corner of the room and worked round it relentlessly, seat by seat, row by row, every student reading one sentence aloud. They were not exactly stellar readers, and I was bored stiff, listening every day to them stumbling through a simple reading book. To while away the time, I invented a game in which I read the page vertically instead of horizontally. The first column of words was easy, but finding the second column, then the third, fourth, or even the fifth, got increasingly harder as the columns got wigglier and wigglier. Sometimes the words formed a silly sentence and gave me a quiet little giggle. But this game landed me in hot water when I became so engrossed that I lost track of who was reading what sentence. And suddenly it was my turn. "Help! What line are we on?" Old Camel Face took a dim view of this. "Gwen Redford, you are the most exasperating child it has ever been my misfortune to encounter. You never know the place. What am I to do with you?" Miss Mitchell's vocabulary was the only thing I liked about her. Exasperating and misfortune. and encounter were not exactly run-of-the-mill words for Waterloo area. But it never occurred to Miss Mitchell that all she had to do with me was give me a more challenging book and let me read by myself.